Hey guys, how's it going? Shimbob here, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about my top 5 favourite PvP weapons this week. So very similarly to how I did the top 5 PvE weapons, this is going to be my top 5 PvP weapons, simply because I don't have every weapon, and there's a couple that I'm going to mention at the end of the video that I think would be on the list if I had those weapons, but I don't, unfortunately. So yeah, and also like the other list, it's not going to be completely ordered. I'll do it in order, but they are interchangeable a little bit because I find it really difficult to decide on these sometimes. It just depends what mood I'm in. With all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comments, if you agree, disagree with any of my decisions. I'll try my best to give a decent, coherent reason as to why I think these guns deserve to be in the top 5, but if you guys strongly disagree or really disagree or have any opinions, let me know down in the comments. I like to start discussions around these sort of topics. But without further ado, let's get straight into number 5. Now, this number 5 spot on the list is a little bit of a wild card spot, and I'll mention a few guns that I wanted to fill it with, but either I don't have those guns or it just wasn't quite strong enough. Okay, so for my number 5 spot, a little bit controversial, I'm going to put officially Thorn. So hear me out on this. I might be a little bit biased throughout this towards hand cannons. I really enjoy them. But with Thorn, I only just got it recently in like the last couple of weeks, and obviously I don't mean for like trials or Iron Banner or anything where light level counts, but in regular Crucible, and especially in like 6s and that, I think it can be really, really handy. And I know that the damage over time isn't what it used to be, so it doesn't like kill people sort of thing like it did, but it still is a very good utility I find to have on the gun. It's really good for stopping your opponent from recovering their shields, so you can rush them a bit better and kill them in one shot, or it helps you track them a little bit. If they take a hit, go around a corner, you can still see those numbers ticking, which is really nice, and pretty much for that reason, that's why I've got it in there. Otherwise, I find it pretty easy to control, decent range, and yeah, pretty quick time to kill if you hit those headshots. So a couple of other weapons that I was contemplating putting in this spot, and that could go in the top 5 in other spots too, are the Doctrine of Passing. I've never had one, but I do know for like especially 6s and that, it seems to be pretty strong and pretty consistent as a primary. I also had considered Hawkmoon as a number 5 spot. But you'll see later on that I kind of make it redundant with another weapon, not to spoil anything in the list. And also Grasp of Malik, that would definitely be in my top 5, but I don't have one. I have used pulse rifles that have the same archetype, but they don't have good rolls on them and stability and stuff like that, so I can't fully comment on Grasp of Malik, but the amount of times I get killed with it and the way I see it behave when other people use it, I would definitely include it in my top 5 if I had it. So moving on to number 4 spot, and this one would come in probably second to a Grasp of Malik, and that is the Hawksaw. So I know you can get the Syros PDX 45, which has basically the same stats, and you can get different rolls on that, which is pretty nice, but you can also do the same on the Hawksaw. But obviously a lot of people pick up the vendor version of the Hawksaw that's currently being sold, just because it has such nice stability and range. I personally don't use that roll. I have my own one, which is pretty decent. It gets the job done, and that's why I've got it in 4th spot. But basically, it's just a good gun to have in mid to long range encounters, and it does hold its own a little bit if you spray from the hip in close quarters when you have to. It's not as bad as like a scout rifle or something like that. And with the quick time to kill and nice base stability and range, it's just one of the strongest guns in the Crucible at the moment. It has been since the Taken King has come out, basically. So really impressive. If you don't have one already, definitely go get one. So the number 3 spot for me is going to go to The Last Word. Now, I was going to put this in number 2, but basically just it's not as versatile at range as the next 2 that I'm going to mention. So for that reason, I put it in number 3 spot, but if you are in the gun's effective range, man, it's probably the best gun in the game. Not as bad as it used to be, but still an absolute lightning time to kill if you hit your shots, especially headshots. And if you pair this with like a sniper and you can actually snipe pretty well, then it's a deadly combo. You'll see a lot of players in sweats and a lot of the good players using snipers in Last Words, and they absolutely just shred at all ranges. So moving into spot number 2, and we've got Ice Luna. So this could sort of be interchanged with other weapons like the Lord High Fixer or Finale's Peril even. Basically just anything in this archetype of hand cannon, but the thing that makes these special is that they are legendary hand cannons, so you can get an absolute god roll on them, or just a roll that's a god roll to you and fits your playstyle, which makes them really handy. So being able to 3-shot people if you hit a headshot, plus awesome range. Stability doesn't really matter too much on hand cannons, especially these ones, it's much more than controllable. If you get a really nice roll, I think for me personally, the one I have is an absolute god roll. I've got like luck in the chamber, rifled barrel. If you get an Ice Luna with rifled barrel on it, that's just like poof, game over, that's your gun to use. I've also got hot swap, which is nice. So for that reason and the fact that you can just get an absolute god roll and fit to your playstyle, that's why the Ice Luna is the main hand cannon of choice for me. And I don't know if you've worked out yet what my final weapon is in the number 1 spot, but for those of you who haven't already, it is the Mitre Multi-Tool. Now, I did have this also in my top 5 PvE weapons, and that's pretty much just because it's such a versatile gun. And that versatility really shines in PvP, and it's super frustrating to come up against because people kill you with it super quickly if they hit those headshots. They kill you from multiple ranges, like long range, mid range, and if you're not paying attention, they'll kill you from close range too if they hit those headshots. I find too, all the perk combos work really well. I personally use lightweight. I just like having that extra agility. Being able to see radar at all times is great on any weapon, so that's an absolute bonus. And also the Mitre Multi-Tool one where you fire on a hair trigger, that's pretty nice too. Also quick draw is good as an alternate to lightweight, so I switch between those two a fair bit, and it just gives this weapon a real versatile feel, and I feel like I can challenge anybody from almost any range, even snipers at long range. When people rush you with shotguns, you just got to make sure you hit those headshots, keep your composure, and you can beat them too. I mean, I don't use it that often these days, but if I'm having a bad game and I'm getting killed by another multi-mitre tool, then it's definitely a go-to weapon that I switch to just to get my confidence back up. So there you have it, guys. They're my top PvP weapons just before Rise of Iron comes out, basically, sort of summing up my feelings about the PvP environment. It'd be really great if you guys can let me know down in the comments what you thought of the video, what you thought of my list, and if you have any other opinions, if you agree or disagree. Thanks a lot for watching the video too, guys. Really appreciate it. Been getting pretty good support and views on the channel lately. Really means a lot, really keeps me going making these videos for you guys. If you really did enjoy it, go ahead and leave it a like, even subscribe for more content like this. Be sure to check out those videos down below, and until next time, just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Cheers.